Well, next time on this program, we will be talking about Avatar because it's been hyped up not just this year, it's been hyped up for like the last decade, and tall order, tall order, and so far people seem to be thinking that James Cameron's delivering. So I don't know. Do you really think that this is going to be mind blowing, a visual masterpiece? That we should never doubt James
I
Cameron.
mean, as far as it being a visual masterpiece, I never had any doubt of. I mean, the first movie 10 years ago was like state of the art, like first frontier kind of
Yeah.
graphics. And now we're talking 10 years of advancement that they've had to. I mean, think about what's happened in the last 10 years. We went from, I mean, essentially, we went from Avatar 1 to Avatar 2. So I'm very excited to see it, essentially. I'm
Yeah.
very excited to see it, and I have no doubt that the visuals are going to be incredible. My question is mainly about whether or not the story is going to be that incredible. I don't
You
know.
know, that's
Expectations
my
are
big
low.
concern, and I'm not convinced. People are saying that this one's more emotional, that it's got more substance to it, and so maybe, but um, I just I heard James Cameron saying that like he doesn't want to hear people complaining that it's too long when we sit and watch, and binge TV shows for 8 hours at a time. And I'd
Yeah.
like to rebuttal that a little bit here because when you're watching something for 8 hours, usually it's because the story's good and you want to keep watching it.
So
Also,
we
can I
don't know
say,
that the story's not going to be good yet.
I
So
have a
it's
good
like
feeling it won't be.
savage. Yeah,
and we were
Roland.
talking about this earlier. My biggest complaint about people complaining about binge culture, like how, like, oh, if you can binge watch 8 hours, you can do. No, there's a difference because there's chunks. You're
Yeah.
not promising
Yeah.
yourself to the 5 hours you're binge watching. It just happens that you have enough time. You're not promising to sit down for that 3 hour movie.
And it
At least
keeps
give
And
us
then
an
on
it
top
keeps
of
you
indication.
that,
stimulated. It keeps you
yeah, on
stimulated
top of
and you
that,
can
you can pause it, you can walk away, I can do something else, I can do
yeah.
this, I can
Yeah.
make food, I can
And
make
in the case of
popcorn, I
in the
can,
case of
yeah.
shows, it's like the rhythm changes. You're not Cameron, you think you know things you don't. Um, you got the sky wrong in Titanic,
Oh,
famously. But what I'm saying here is, the the
We
theme
don't like
song will
running to
come
the
on,
bathroom.
the setup will change,
it's true.
if you're like
It's a lot of
there's
anxiety. Like, oh God, when can I pee? I don't know.
yeah. Yeah. He
So
should
yeah, but that was also
especially with
going
all
into
that
like
water.
I know. Oh my gosh.
the way of water. I get it
Hmm.
now.
Yeah.
There you go. So I don't know. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
see it. We're
Speaking
gonna
Speaking to the like what we were talking about earlier, I think it'd be different if like I feel like more and more movies are sort of moving back to that old sort of classic film 3 hours, three and a
Yeah.
half hours. Like Wakanda was long. God, what else did we watch that was like pretty? There was something else that was like 3 hours, 3.5 hours. And I feel like more and more movies are sort of pushing back to that, especially as TV becomes longer form. I
Oh,
think that that's fine and dandy as long as you build in an intermission where like I don't have to like rush to go fill up my popcorn or like grab more water or use the restroom. Like I think if they change the
yeah.
formatting, I'd be happy with it.
I wouldn't mind if TV started getting shorter. I've been saying for a long time, I think we could see actual sitcoms coming back because I think it's really hard to tell the difference between movies and TV these days.
Yeah.
And there's an art to TV. Grow
Why
up.
is
You
he
think you
so
know?
quick with these?
I know. I'm
I
loving this.
know, I'm like these came out of nowhere.
But, there's an art to telling a story quickly and giving somebody the conflict and resolution in 30
Danny's
minutes.
just piping in the chat, you guys, but not saying anything. Just don't think about peeing. Mind
Oh,
over
I saw
matter.
that. Yeah.
Intermission? Who needs
Yeah.
those? I personally love a musical intermission because it gives me a chance to digest
And
everything,
pee.
go to the bathroom, get a drink, get this, get the whatever I need, and then go back and enjoy the rest of the film. Sometimes I fucking look forward to the intermission. Like sometimes the musicals are that boring. Like I'm like, oh God, I need this 10 minutes. So I wouldn't be mad if music, like movies in general, brought those in.
Yeah. You have to finish it, but you need a breath of air first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I
it's a
feel that.
lot. Okay.
Yeah.
So we know I mean, it's given. You could watch the trailer and be like, yeah, it's a visual masterpiece. Great.
Yeah.
That's not a surprise. That's hardly a question. Like, and he's had the time to make it better.
That's true. 10
That's
years
not,
is kind of ridiculous.
yeah. Can you
13,
imagine if there were
actually. That movie came out in like 2009.
2009? Can you imagine if like we had to wait 13 years between Batman Begins and The Dark Knight?
So it's projected to make over 150 to 175 million after opening weekend. Oh, during opening weekend, apparently, and then likely over 350 million globally. The question is whether or not it's going to be able to break the like global yearly whatever that Top Gun set in 2.5 weeks before the end of the year. I don't know if there's any, like, there's no way.
Yeah, I mean, we do have the added perk for them that they are going to be, this will play in China. They will get the China bump. But as we've
Top
seen,
Gun Maverick has grossed over $1.4 billion.
And I think you have to make that to break even.
Oh, I mean, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a B number for sure for them to break even. And it just goes to show that this movie is garbage. How dare you? Unbelievable. Are you serious? You need to break $2 billion? Oh, I'm so sorry. Was 1 billion not enough for you? You poor sad thing. I'm so sorry. Oh gosh. It doesn't have to be this kind of competition. It should be a competition of who has the greater story, who has this better world building. It's not who can break the records. Let's pull a Disney move and just keep reintroducing it to the public and like just kind of making that time frame bigger. Do you know why Avatar was the #1 movie? Why it has so many money is because they kept putting it back in theater. I'm sorry. This movie has been upsetting me since I was 9 years old when it came out. That's how angry I've been at this movie.
Wait, you hate Avatar this much?
I hated it for so long. I genuinely cannot stand it. Because it was boring. It didn't make any sense, and the logic always
the original
messed with
Avatar, just for like back reference, the original Avatar was the top at the box office for 14 weeks in a row, which a lot of movies can't say. And then on top of that, Dan, what are the stats on what the first movie made? Do we have that?
It's like 2.5,
$2.9 billion. Yeah. This movie is definitely going to make money. I just don't know if it's going to be the top grossing of 2022 calendar year because how could it?
Stand it.
How could it?
Cameron, all right, so you're going to tell me that you are connecting spiritually and, let's be honest, sexually with another person. But it's not that way when you're connecting with an animal.
I'm not gonna connect sexually to these things.
I'm just saying.
Is that part of the? Is that part of
it came out?
Well, now that you've brought it up, now that you've brought that up, is that part of the appeal here? Are people sexually into these things?
Oh, there's a huge bestiality subculture with this. There's no way. I mean, Rule 34 doesn't have.
I was like a 10-year-old watching this movie, so I don't know if I was looking at it like that at all. They look good, right? Y'all, Dan is popping off in these chats right now. It's so funny.
Yeah, no.
I'm not into these personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like little alien monkeys.
I don't know about monkeys, but they're more cat-like than anything.
Sorry, guys. I'm getting over a cold.
I'm gonna watch this, and you know what? I'm actually gonna rewatch the original Avatar, something I haven't done in so long. I'm gonna rewatch it, and I'm gonna watch Avatar: The Way of the Water, and we'll see if my opinion has changed. I doubt it, but
You think there's going to be a sex scene in this one? Now you just got me
Yeah,
thinking about it. But
probably.
like,
You
There
know,
was
there's
totally.
Kate Winslet's character. That's the person that, so Kate Winslet is in this movie, you know, who of course
Mhm.
first worked with James Cameron on Titanic, which was the biggest movie of all time until Avatar took it over. And then
That's
Kate
crazy
Winslet
that he's
actually,
had two.
huh?
It's crazy that he's had like two top
Oh yeah.
movies.
I mean,
That's
until
insane.
Endgame came out, the top two highest grossing movies of all time were both by James Cameron. And even today, I'm pretty sure that Titanic is still at number 3. So James Cameron still owns 2 out of the 3 highest grossing movies of all time.
It's
And I
insane.
feel like he's the only director he has the only 2 non-MCU and Star Wars movies in the top 10 of all time. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but to answer your question, Andrew, Kate Winslet plays this character that's on screen right now, who's like one of these Na'vi that are, you know, gonna teach Jake and his family the way of the water. They actually have a different blue pigmented skin, so I guess they have races in Pandora, which is great. Like that's, I like the diversity. Not everybody looks exactly the same. But this character in the trailers, there's there's trailers where she isn't pregnant, where she looks completely normal, and then there's trailers where she does. And in fact, there's a shot where she's like trying to shoot a bow and arrow, and she's like adjusting for the belly weight with, you know, to make sure she's, you know, not gonna fall over. So
That's kind
yeah,
of cool.
I mean, hey, from one to the next, there's apparently this movie takes place over a long period of time.
I just want to know how
Yeah.
much of a visual masterpiece this is going to be. Are we going to see it?
Oh,
I'm excited for the movie.
wait, what?
I'm
Okay.
excited to see it.
The whole movie? Sorry.
Ooh,
No, just
crock-pot.
that part.
Just that part? I don't know.
Just
You
that
guys
part.
remember? Hey, you guys remember what happened in the first movie? There was like this scene that was sort of a stand-in for like a sex scene. It was like when they're in the
Yeah.
Ava tree and they're sort of
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Sort of.
talking about. That's what I was talking about. It's that scene where they're connecting with the hair, but they
Yes,
also connect
yeah.
the hair with the right.
Yeah.
Also, do you know what the mineral is called that they're trying to get in the first
Unobtainium.
movie?
Unobtainium.
Unobtainium. Ridiculous.
Which,
Unobtainium.
Yeah.
which, by the way, that may sound crazy, but if you look at the periodic table and you go to like the really at the bottom, there are some lazily named elements in the real periodic table. Like there's an americium, which is basically America-ium or something. There's a newtonium. There are some like things that are straight up named after people and those kind
They're
of like,
named after the places where they were discovered, like
or the
Berkelium.
people that were
Just
discovered
because
by
they're
them.
lazily
Yeah.
named doesn't mean that you need to do that.
Yeah, as a plot device that could have been better. I believe the movie is made of unwatchium, and I'm not.
Well, there's a pregnant
it's gonna be
Navi right
tough.
there, so you know.
I don't really care. I don't really care that she's pregnant. I don't think that that's that crazy. Like, women.
I think it's crazy that there's in some
Pregnancy.
shots she's not pregnant. That's my thing. I think that's like a little what's going on. But
I just don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, I'm sure it has to do with the plot, but I'm like,
yeah,
it keeps
absolutely.
coming up, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, every race has children in some way. It's not that like,
yeah.
So when exactly is this coming out?
This is dropping on December 15th, which is the Thursday when the previews begin. And then, you know,
I see.
16th is, I guess, the official release date, which, fun fact, is basically almost to the day 13 years after the original, because the original dropped on like December 18th, that Friday
I
in
don't care.
2009.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
don't care.
exactly 13 years later
I don't
that
care.
this is coming out.
I don't care.
I guarantee you, I'm gonna go home and my mom, regardless of how much I dislike or like this movie, my mom is gonna make me rewatch it. My mom loved Avatar so much. I'm gonna have to let you all know what Carmen thinks about it, because Carmen
Yeah,
is gonna
no,
let me know what she
okay.
thinks
Moms
about
really love this movie. I
Yeah.
think it's a
She-
mom thing.
it. She loved it. She was so into it, and I'm just like, okay, cool.
Well, I mean, that's part of the appeal of this movie that helped it make the money that it did. Because the original movie made like less than 70 million at the domestic box office on opening weekend. It was the fact that it stuck around so long at the very top of the list that it got there in the end and became the biggest movie of all time. So a lot of that has to do with these people who are like, you know, in the older demographics who don't go on opening weekend, but they will go after they hear the word of mouth. It's kind of like Top Gun Maverick. Both of those movies, I think, are similar in the sense that they drew in the older crowd, and that's a lot of how they end up making their money, or did make money for Top Gun, and now will probably do for Avatar. But I am excited to see, you know, what your mom has to say about it.
Cameron, you think you know things? Yeah, Carmen is a force of nature, that woman is. And she really does have opinions. My mom is very opinionated. My friends used to think she was funnier than me. My friends probably still think she's funnier than me. That's fine. So yeah, I'll let you all know what Carmen has to say about it.
This is the year. This is the week. It's finally come. This is the week that we actually get to see it and talk about whether or not this is actually going to be a good movie. So yeah, come back next week. Maybe we'll all be proven wrong. Maybe we'll see some hot Na'vi action. Well, I'll let you know. I'll definitely let you know if that's the case. But come back here and join in the conversation, because that's what we're here for. Thank you for watching. We will see you next week. Completely changed by a stunning visual masterpiece, life-changing, a sequel unlike any other sequel, and a show unlike any other show. Mic
Clearly,
drop.
Andrew's
Goodbye.
gonna hate it.
Probably.
Bye, guys.
See you next week.